Well, people have heard of haunted houses. Has anyone ever heard of a haunted mask? Hello, YouTubers of the world. The Vigilante is here once again to have another review on Mega Halloween Mixer. And today we are going to be looking into Goosebumps The Haunted Mask. If any of you guys don't know Goosebumps, I recommend that you look into it. Know that it is a series of books that was made by Arthur R.L. Stein, who was a great who actually made this series, and it made such a great hit that some of the books he made were adapted into a TV series that started in 1995 and ended all the way to 1998. And quite frankly, I'm glad that they did that. Personally, I only knew about Goosebumps. I knew about the books, but I never really could get into the books themselves. Not that I didn't like the books. I was bad at reading back then, and I was a kid back then. But luckily, with the movies, it helped me appreciate it. And as I got better with my reading, I grew to appreciate those books and knowing how they started this thing off to making these movies. But now, having said that, we must go ahead and get into this movie, The Haunted Mask, but not just The Haunted Mask, The Haunted Mask and The Haunted Mask 2. There's actually two. There are actually two stories about the Haunted Mask. One of them is from the original book, and if I'm not mistaken, the second one is actually just an original TV show. I might be wrong on that end. I only knew of the original Goosebumps book. I knew there were more that came out then. Whether the sequel of The Haunted Mask came from another book, I do not know. All I know is that when it comes to the Haunted Mask, it can really teach you a lot, people. It really does. For one, some of us all wear masks for a reason. Some of us may do it for good reasons, but one thing we should never do is wear a mask for bad reasons. And that's exactly what is shown here, especially in the first part of the Haunted Mask, as it deals with a girl named Carly Bath, who is a who has a reputation for being scared easily, being frightened very easily, that it causes people to make fun of her, so much so that there are two bullies she has that love to do that to her. However, though, what Carly Bath didn't understand back then is that these two bullies by the name of Chuck and Steve were just a bunch of bullies, not because they love picking on her because she's weak, but because they liked her. And this is a message for all of you. If you like someone, I think you can find a much better way to do it than that way, because unfortunately, it's through all those two and their teasing of her and making her be humiliated, not just on her, but also on school, that she had had enough. Because the thing with Carly Bath is she doesn't like how she's got this reputation of being a fraidy cat, a scaredy cat and stuff, that it really hit the boiling point that she wanted revenge on Chuck and Steve to make them know what it feels like to be teased and made fun of or get scared. That's where she ended up going to a shop to find a Halloween mask, a scary one to be exact. What she didn't know, though, is that when she found the mask, she learned from the shop owner that there's something about this mask that he's not wanting to sell it. It's almost as if he's trying to warn her that having that mask is something she's going to regret. Well, yes, that is certainly what happened, because after she actually got the mask and later on wore it during Halloween, did she start to discover things. For one, her voice changed, her personality changed, all into a completely different person. And then when she soon learned that when she tried taking off the mask, she's learning she couldn't take it off. What and why is that? Well, this is where she went back to the shop owner and found out that the mask isn't really a mask. It's a real face. More like saying the mask was a mask at first, but it's a possessed mask, a haunted mask. That's where the theme of the haunted mask comes from. It's a mask that when someone wears it, they it becomes their face. Why? Well, for one, when you it's because like people like Carly Bath and the shop owner explained to her is that she is becoming this person because she misunderstood herself. She she doesn't like who she is, so she hid behind a mask the to hide the faults, which in some cases are true. But as she learned when she was finally able to take off the mask, the only way to stop it was through a symbol of love. And what do you mean by that, you wonder? Well, it could be many things. For one, for her to finally have taken off that mask, it was through the symbol of love of who she is. And one thing she was able to use to help her realize that was through a sculpture of her made by her mother. And another way you can look at it is this, is that be proud of who you are. Learn who you are and accept who you are and find a way to be much better because that's what exactly what happened with Carly Bath at the end of the first haunted mask and then going into the second haunted mask, which takes place a year after, that she is much more braver and much more easy to see through Chuck and Steve and their constant trying to scare her. She was able to finally accept the love of who she is and the love of what her mother sees in her, of what her family sees in her. This is where it can go into the Haunted Mask number two. Now, in the Haunted Mask number two, Carly Bath does return, but she is not the main focus of it. No. Instead, it's with one of her bully crush boys, Chuck and Steve, take center stage in the Haunted Mask 2. But it's really the boy Steve, who takes center stage in this one, because this time he is the one who ends up getting a mask that starts to possess his face. But why does he end up getting a mask? First off, no, it's not the same mask, but the mask that Carly Bath had does play a major role in this because Carly Bath reveals that she buried that mask after what happened in the Haunted Mask number one. She buried it away, but when the next year's Halloween came, he was resurrected by the power of Halloween, and he was brought back to life with his evil powers, and he wanted revenge on Carly Bath by not only getting revenge on her and destroying what he believed the symbol of love is, that being her sculpture, but also repossessing her. And doing that, he was able to trick Steve into getting a mask, and with his powers, the mask was able to possess Steve. Now, as for why Steve wanted the mask, though, it's because he's growing up. He's seeing that they are no longer going to be interested in Halloween. And sadly, that is always the truth in real life. As most of us are getting older, some of us don't really look at Halloween as we used to, which is kind of the reason why MegaGeekmixer created me. He wanted there to be a more spirit to Halloween in him, and this is why I, the vigilante, exists, to help him out with that, and to help bring out his spirit more. Maybe not as much as when he was a kid, but it can at least help us out. And this is just on me. If some of y'all want to have the Halloween spirit in you, you can find your own different ways. Just know this is mine. I just wanted to put that on a personal note there. But as for Steve, since like I said, it was his last Halloween before he started not caring much about it. So he wanted to be able to go out in a bang in a scary way. But the problem is he was so obsessed with it that he didn't realize the danger he was being put in. Because Carly Bath, knowing of what those masks are and what they're capable of, once warned, once she learned of it, she was doing everything she can to find him and help him. Now, as for that mask, this one was, as I said, different. It was a mask that looks like it's a very old man and stuff. And he soon began to learn of it himself. As he continued to act like he was in character, he soon realized he's not in character, and that this mask is making him actually be an old man. How's that, you wonder? Well, one, he was being so hungry and wanting energy, and feeling so weak and old as he was walking and wanting water. It was only until after the evil haunted mask from Haunted Mask number one revealed that he's the one doing this to him that he realized what was going on. And only after sacrificing himself and protecting Carly Bath, when the mask confronted Carly Bath and tried to possess her once again, that he was able to not just save Carly Bath, but himself. Now, one thing the Haunted Mask 1 and 2 can always show you is that in order to defeat an evil such as these haunted masks that have the power to possess you, is the symbol of love. Now, granted that while I, the vigilante, may wear a mask, I am not afraid. I am not afraid of who I am under this mask. This just brings out the more darker side of me, the one that is able to do what he feels needs to be done. Whereas MegaGeekmixer, he has that in him, but sometimes the courage within him is very faltered. I am allowed to help him out a little. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and just know that I love this movie. The Haunted Mask really was a good movie, especially Haunted Mask 2. Maybe some might like the first one better than the second one. Me, I like the second one better, mainly because it seemed to have a more darker tone or risk than the first one to me. Or maybe it's because since I remember so much about the first one compared to the second one, that's why I like it better. Either way, I still love them both. And one thing I gotta say that I maybe should have said at the beginning was how much I love R.L. Spine with how he made these books and how people adapted it into a TV series. Goosebumps are definitely one to celebrate when it comes to the spirit of Halloween. And I love it. I love it. It is fantastic. And don't worry, guys, I have more Goosebumps I want to talk about with my last few episodes I will make here, because my plan is to make a total of 4 more episodes, or 5 if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to make at least 10 more before the month ends. And until then, I hope you are all enjoying my videos. And if you are, well, all you have to do is go over and click the like button, hit the little subscribe button, as well as the bell icon to be notified of when the next one will come out. And until then, I am the Vigilante, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.